Hello everyone, this is Lisa. The communication topic article that I chose is social pragmatic communication disorder. I chose that because my oldest son got diagnosed with social pragmatic communication disorder in October of last year. Communication is definitely challenging with this disorder. Social pragmatic communication disorder is diagnosed category under the communication disorder and neurodevelopment disorder section of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, the 5th edition. The SCD is defined by a primary deficient in social use of nonverbal and verbal communications. Individuals with the SCD may also be categorized by difficulty in using language for social purposes, appropriately matching communication to social context following rules of communication context, understanding non-literal language such as jokes, itemized, or metaphors, and integrating language with nonverbal communication behaviors. Sufficient language skills must be developed before those higher order pragmatic defects can be detected. So a diagnosis of SCD should not be made until children are 4 or 5 years age. He was 6. These disorders include language disorders, speech sound disorder, childhood onset fluency disorder, the unspecified communication disorder, but cannot be diagnosed in presence of autism, which he's not diagnosed. Let's see. In the early 1980s, Rapin and Allen introduced the term semantic pragmatic deficient syndrome to categorize children who are overly verbose, demonstrated word finding difficulty, and having difficulty with conversation. I'm having difficulties today, including poor topic maintenance. Similarly, Bishop and Rosenblum used the term semantic pragmatic disorder to describe children who have difficulty understanding and following the rules of conversation and may use unusual language or word choice to communicate. However, it's been suggested that this semantic defects may not always co-occur with pragmatic defects. To differentiate individuals with defects in pragmatic through not necessarily systematic. The term pragmatic language impairs was coined. Further research confirmed that the clinical characteristics of pragmatic language impair include difficulties understanding and using language, following the social rule of language despite relative strengths in word knowledge and grammar. However, the boundaries of pragmatic impairment have not been consistently defined in the literature. Specifically, there has been considerable debate about whether pragmatic language impairs can fully be separated from social communication impairment of other language disorders. Let's get you guys some more information. The empirical evidence of pragmatic language impairs come from studies using standardized measure of language ability as well as teacher report to describe 6 subgroups of language impairment, including children with primary defects in morphology and receptive language, referrology and expressive language, poor word reading, articulation, expressive language, expressive language with higher fibers than groups, articulation, semantic, and one subgroup presented primarily pragmatic defects is described above, although it is identified mainly by the teacher report. Some children with structured language impairment also have significant impairments in pragmatic language. There's also evidence suggests that pragmatic impairs. Oh, I'm way over my time. Anyways, so communicating between somebody who has a communication disorder is quite challenging. He doesn't understand questions with what, when, where, why, any of the W's. So rewording questions with those till he understands is a challenge. Also, things with like more than one command. So I have to tell him individually, like what to do, one step, a next step, and a next step. There are speech and occupational therapy that do help with that process and understanding understanding like how to communicate with him on a better level. So, thank you.